Welcome to the Have You Met Her Yet podcast, a podcast by Pink Crown Creative. I am your host, Lindsay Dent, the founder of Pink Crown Creative, a Vancouver-based marketing consulting company. This podcast was created to shine a spotlight on women in the workplace, who they are, what they do, why you should know them. In this week's episode, I speak with Opal, founder of Sun Vixen Swimwear. Opal and I were originally connected a few years ago when we met at a networking event. Since then, we have become one another's client and have both come to rely on each other for advice and guidance in our entrepreneurial journeys. I can't wait for you to meet Opal. I hope you enjoy this episode. Welcome back to Have You Met Her Yet, the series that is a podcast. Today I am with Opal, who is the founder and owner of Sun Vixen Swimwear. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks for having me, Lindsay.
Okay, so to get started, I wanted to know a bit more about what your story was, what you do, and how did you get to where you are today in your career?
Okay, so I founded a company called Sun Vixen Swimwear. It is an online boutique servicing Canadians. I also have customers in the United States and elsewhere, but the idea for the business was to be an offer for Canadians so that they have somewhere to shop for beautiful designer swimwear. They can try it on in the comfort of their own home because it's delivered right to the door. So there's no glaring sales or overhead lighting and bad lighting and sales and pushy sales staff. You're just trying it on in the comfort of your own home. So it's convenient, and returns are free. So if for some reason you don't like the swimwear that you purchase or it doesn't fit quite right, it's returned hassle-free. We provide a return shipping label and it comes right back to us. It's no problem. So the reason I started the company is because I saw a big gap in the market and I wanted to provide that or fill that gap and provide something different into the marketplace that isn't being offered already. And I started the company in 2017. I founded it, or rather I incorporated in June of 2017. And that was after I had been working in the corporate world. I'd worked there for many, many years. And there was a point in time I experienced a bit of a trauma, and so I wasn't able to work for a little while, and it provided this kind of break point where I started to just kind of reflect and review on, what my path in life and what I really wanted to get out of this life, right?
Yeah.
Life is short, we know, right?
Yeah.
So I just started thinking about.
The next question I would have for you is, what is one valuable piece of advice you would give to someone who wants to get into your field or start a business?
Start a business, do your research, and then, well, for the business that I decided to go into, it's quite capital intensive.
Yeah.
So it depends on what you're offering. If you're offering something like I do, where I hold inventory because I want to control the customer experience from every point. I don't want to provide a drop shipping experience for my customers. I want it to be high end and luxurious when they receive their product, that kind of experience. So it takes a lot of capital investment, right? And there are a lot of things that you don't plan for that come up. So if you're going to be investing in a product-based business like mine, I would suggest having ample funding behind it, or ability to go to the bank and to borrow, and make sure you have a really solid business plan, because you have to be able to back that when you're going to ask for funding.
Right.
So that would be my biggest, don't be naive enough to think that you can just kind of like Mickey Mouse plan together and then go ahead and it will be great, because there's going to be a lot, as you know, right? Starting your own company is it's a big deal, and there's going to be a lot of unknowns, and it's a risky enterprise. That's why most people don't do it. So I would just say, and also I would really advise talking to other entrepreneurs who have already done it, and ask them, okay, what were the pitfalls? What did you find out later that you wish you'd known beforehand? Because they're more than willing to share all that experience with you if you are just invite them out for a coffee and say 15 minutes, I just want to ask you a couple quick questions. You'll find probably a lot of the same recurring themes from each person, right? So it's just a good idea to just have a really good plan and a good financial idea of what you're getting into before you start.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's really, really good advice. While you were starting your business, or maybe throughout the process, have you turned to any mentors, or is there anyone that you sort of looked up to and wanted to like replicate your brand to be sort of in that model?
Yeah, so I have turned to mentors, absolutely. Like I 100% believe in mentors. My most recent experience has been with Trish Chonai, who's a mentor and a coach, and I was paired up with her through the FWE, which is Forum for Women Entrepreneurs. It's founded here in Vancouver. It's a great network to be a part of too if you're thinking of starting your own business. But I also have other mentors, kind of informal too, and my most recent mentor, her name is Nina, and she's got a marketing background. So I liked mentors are extremely important, so you can run ideas past them, and they give you input of ideas and an influx of knowledge that you don't necessarily have or haven't really thought of, because maybe you don't have any exposure to that, or you haven't never had any exposure to that. So I very much believe in mentorship. As far as the business model that I have, I haven't met or come into contact with someone who I would love that if I could, that is doing an e-commerce website, and because I think that would be valuable. So if there's anyone out there who knows of someone that may be a good match, who's been doing it for a while, I would absolutely be open to that.
I think it's important to speak to other people who are doing what you're doing and just pick their brain. And I mean, even if they may or may not be competition, it's just good to kind of know what works for them, because knowledge is sharing and power and all that stuff, right? It's really important to do that, I think.
That's right. And in the absence of mentors, like meeting with an entrepreneurial community, right? Like, so right off the hop, I was introduced to you, which I've been grateful for, because you just know, having that feeling of not being alone, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Really huge.
You're in it together, whether it's like the high times, the low times. It's so nice to feel connected with people going through that.
And like being able to bounce, like, you know, I've called you in a difficult situation and bounced ideas off you and said, hey, am I thinking kind of off, or what do you suggest to do in this scenario, and getting someone's opinion, right? Like,
absolutely.
So in absence of a mentor, make sure you're surrounded with people that can help you kind of see things in a different way.
Absolutely. I completely agree. So sort of on that same topic, is there a resource or tool or something that kind of helps make your day-to-day, your business a bit easier to run?
A tool,
like something you like live and breathe by, that you recommend to someone who's running a business?
Well, honestly and truly, for me, it's been a tool that's not really a tool. It's the antithesis of a tool, which is meditation.
Okay.
So I think, because when you are running your own business, there's so many things, as you know, right, that to consider at every point in time, right? So you can really get caught up in this doing quick hustle, go mode, and it's really important to not get swept up too much in that, because that's how burnout happens. That's how I think a lot of people end up failing.
Absolutely.
It's because it becomes too much, right? Because it's this overwhelming thing, and really that is just mind created, right? Because if you think about everyone on this planet, we all have the same number of hours in every day, and we can only do a certain amount of things at a time, right? So it's if you blow things up in your mind and you don't ever empty it, I think that is not a healthy thing to do. I think so. If you can meditate and make that like a regular practice, I think it is hugely helpful. Like
Oh,
it helps
great.
me. And even when I get really in states where I'm like a little bit stressed out, like
Yeah.
I've been over the past few days, we just had a Black Friday sale that
Yeah.
was really busy.
Yeah.
If you can just take moments within those days, just for 5 minutes even,
Yeah.
to just sit, don't look at a computer, don't look at anything.
Step away from it.
Yeah, and just sit in a chair, and even if you're not comfortable closing your eyes, keep your eyes open, but just like empty your brain of anything and everything, and just so that you can center yourself again, rebalance, and then move forward.
And do you use an app? Is it something that you've like taught yourself? What are you kind of using for the meditation?
Yeah, so when I first started meditating, it was only just a couple of years ago after I experienced the trauma. I felt intuitively that I needed to start meditating.
Okay.
So I started using an app, using guided meditations.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the easiest way for anybody to start.
Yeah.
My husband now uses the Calm app, and I think he really likes it, which is great. You need to start somewhere.
Yes.
But ideally, meditation is to be in that space of no thing, and where there's nothing, right? It's just you and connected straight to the universal intelligence, right? Where there is nothing. Like, so there's no thoughts going through your mind. There's no, there's really no stimuli.
Yeah.
So that's the ultimate place I think you need to be going towards, at least. So I don't use meditation apps anymore. I do listen to binaural beats when I meditate. So it gets you in that mood. Yeah, and it helps you to synchronize your left and your right brain. So it's just like, but I could see how a beginner might think it would be really annoying. Right. Because it is. Because it's just like a beep, beep, beep in your ear. And if you listen to that for 30 minutes straight, if you're not used to it, you might just be really annoyed. Yeah.
That makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you touched a bit on overwhelm and being burnt out. I know you hired an intern this year.
Yes.
Was there a breaking point to you where you realized you can't do it all? And like, how has that changed now having some help with your business?
Yeah, good question. There has been a point, like right from the beginning, like not right from the very, very beginning. I could do it myself, obviously, but but there was always a point where you think, if I had an extra pair of hands, I could get way more done in a way quicker of a time period, right? Or I could be at this stage rather than this stage, because I only, as I said before, right, you only have a certain number of hours in a day, and you only are capable of doing this many tasks in a day, right? Whereas if 2 people, then you've got 2 people doing that amount of work. So I did realize that early on, and I was lucky enough to have someone show up to a pop-up shop who introduced the idea of an unpaid intern to me. She saw the business and she thought her name is Emily. She worked for the LaSalle College. So she knew someone in the fashion space that may be able to help me. So I eagerly said yes to that. And as it turned out, my intern Nimrit Sandhu, she's absolutely amazing. I feel so blessed to have been introduced to her, and she's totally helped me propel things forward at a much faster rate. So so I mean, it's just, as you know, it's the speed of advancement that adding people to your business does, right? Even like I have a circle of people that I call on a regular basis to help me to do certain things. So it's beneficial, and
that's awesome. Very, very cool. So I'm not sure if you've dealt with this in the workplace, but is there one piece of valuable advice you could give to women who might be dealing with discrimination as a female in the workplace? Any sort of advice to overcome those challenges?
So I've worked in a lot of traditionally male roles, like male dominated work environments, and I understand like that is kind of one of the things that women sometimes face, right? What I would recommend is even though it's difficult, it's really important that you understand that you cannot control other people.
Right.
And the way they think, and the way they treat you, the way they react to you, or anything like that. The only thing you can possibly do is just control the way you respond or react or think about those things, right? So one of the things that helps with that, and truly, is meditation. So you could, because it helps you to rewire your brain so you're not as reactive to those types of situations and scenarios, right? You're more able to be almost remove your emotions from situations when they're happening in the moment, which is valuable, because so you could be experiencing a type of discrimination or somebody speaking horribly to you, but there's this space in there where you realize, like, like the best way I can describe it is it just goes through you, like, and it has absolutely no effect on you.
Wow. Yeah.
So that's what I would suggest is meditating, and then ultimately, if you're in an environment that is not healthy for you, consider ways of getting out of that situation, because life is really short to live or work in a space where you don't feel welcome, or where you don't feel like you're valued, or that you feel it may be detrimental to your health.
Absolutely.
So I consider, like I said, you can't control your things or how things are happening or unfolding around you, but you can control your response to it. So maybe look for another job, or look for an opportunity that you can work on your own. Do some freelancing.
No, I love that, and I think it's really important to remember that. And I mean, those are moments that I had when I worked for a corporate company, is thinking like, life is too short to be unhappy and be in an windowless office in the dark and not talking to anyone. It's just one of those things that you think it's too precious to just waste away doing things that you don't really care about, right?
It's true, and sometimes just because the paycheck is coming in, it's hard to see that there could be something better or even more fun out there, with something that fills you up every single day, because it is hard, right? You almost feel like you're kind of stuck in this little bubble sometimes, and then when you have an opportunity to step out of it, it's like, wow, there's a whole other world out there, and I can still make really good money, but just doing something completely different. And I could actually enjoy it too. So that's another thing that people, I understand being stuck in that scenario, or that way of thinking. But it's important to know that there's always another option, and there's always another way of being in the world that you probably aren't even aware of. So start exploring, start talking to other people. Maybe that's, will lead you somewhere that you didn't foresee. No,
I completely agree. I think always talking about the things you want to do. You never know who's going to say something that will either encourage you or make you follow that dream or vision. So I completely agree with that.
That's right.
So speaking on that, what are the things about your business that keep you motivated?
The main thing is seeing the transformation in the women that I sell the swimsuits to.
Oh, that's great.
I know, honestly, it lights me up. Like, I've seen so many women put on a swimsuit and say, wow, I didn't know a swimsuit was supposed to feel like this. I just thought, like, all swimsuits were kind of that cheap swimsuit thing, right? It's like, I didn't realize if I spent money on a swimsuit that it's nice and thick, and it feels good, and it kind of pulls me in all the right places, and it fits nice, and it sits nicely on my skin, and I feel really fabulous in it. And I love, like, changing people's perception of how swimwear is, like what it can
experience.
That's right. And like, you're on vacation, you've spent a lot of money to be here. You shouldn't feel uncomfortable and awkward and insecure when you're walking along the beach or going to the pool. You should feel confident and beautiful and fabulous. So that's the biggest thing that is the biggest motivator for me, is just knowing how the business that I have started is helping people, women,
Yeah.
a lot of ways, and men too,
Yeah.
see themselves in a different, more fabulous, more confident light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I love that so much. So, oh my gosh, I just lost my train of thought. So much positivity coming from you. I was gonna ask, so for your business, how do you choose the bathing suits that you're selling? Like, where did that inspiration come from? I mean, I'm assuming all the suits that you buy aren't necessarily your personality, so how are you sourcing that? Like, what does your process look like for you to choose the ones that you're selling, and et cetera?
Yeah, honestly, it's not a exact science. It's trial and error.
Yeah.
So when I first started, I brought on a girl, and her name is Brooke Wong, and she's a young fashionable girl, and with some buying experience, and she helped me to choose. Like, we go to a trade show. I go to a trade show every year.
Yeah.
And so meet with suppliers and look at their product offerings, and then together we would decide what we were going to bring in. Last year she wasn't able to come, so I brought along Sharon Amer, who also she's got a procurement background, and she's quite savvy on the buying side. So she brought in she brought her baby with her. It's really fun. Yeah, to this trade show. It's quite cute. But we looked at stuff together and just deciding, and then a lot of it now is because I have that data and that understanding of what people are buying. Yeah, it's much easier. Yeah, right. And it's not just trial and error. Right. It's more like, okay, I see that. Now. Yeah, this is what people are eating this up and eating this up, and not so much this. So it's just basically providing more of a similar type product out to the market. Yeah, very cool. So on that note, what trends are people wanting at the moment? Like, what are the hot things that I guess for 2020 you're seeing like is kind of coming right now? Yeah, well, people, women, depending on the age range, right? But women love the bathing suits with the Spanx in it, right? Oh, okay. I know it's not a commonly known about thing. Yeah, but I honestly didn't even know that before. Yeah, interesting. There's a bathing. Is it called something specific? Well, it's called Power Mesh. Okay. But a few of the suppliers offer that. One of my main suppliers, Sea Level Australia, they have that as an inside to all of their swimsuits. So cheeky. Yeah, what cheeky. Is the trend for cheeky going on? Well, as we know, right? Everyone is all over Instagram. Yeah. People love that cheeky trend. Yeah. But when it comes to buying the cheeky style, Canadian women are not there yet, right? So they're still seeking that full bottom back coverage, right? Okay. It's a little bit unfortunate because just from my own experience, I realized that the cheeky bottom it's an illusion type thing, right? Yes. So it has a way of making your backside look about half the size. Right. If you have the confidence, or the, if you feel like you can do it, I really suggest doing it because it does make you look much smaller. But I understand it's not comfortable for a lot of people. Want to feel that really covered up on the backside, so they buy that big full coverage back. But it does the opposite. It makes your backside look much larger than it actually is. But yeah, so I believe that, I'm hoping that Canadian women figure that out over time. Yeah. But I understand it's a stretch, right? Because you're showing a little bit more where you weren't before, and it's uncomfortable. It's an uncomfortable transition. Yeah, it is a really interesting thing, because I do find fashion in general, in the sense of like North American, it's definitely gotten more provocative, but the bathing suits haven't, as they are in Europe or South America, where you're seeing thong bikinis, you're seeing more cheekiness going on, and no one's even thinking anything of it. And so it's really interesting that bathing suits haven't gotten to that level yet of like the confidence of
people showing more, just not even thinking about it. So it's
really interesting. Yeah, we're just a different breed, right?
So very, very true. So I guess on that note of people feeling comfortable and body image and etc., as a bathing suit company, have you dealt with anything that was really hard, like any struggles of being a bathing suit company?
I can't say that I can attribute anything specifically to being a bathing suit or swimwear company.
Yeah.
I can't. I've been asked that question a few times, and I've struggled to answer because I don't feel like that I have experienced that.
That's good though. Yeah.
But I do experience challenges, right? Just like any business, just like yourself, I experience challenges in growing, right?
Yeah.
In creating awareness and just basically broadening my reach and growing my sales, right? I think those are very typical new startup challenges.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just like it's just like anything. You just carry forward and you do what you know how to do and grow your business to the best of your ability and surround yourself with really good people.
Yeah. No, that's really a good way to look at it. Is there anything that you wish existed for your business or to help your business run better that you desperately want or need that doesn't exist?
That's a tough one, right? Because it's like, what if it doesn't exist?
Or something where you're like, oh, if this and this, it just would be amazing.
Yeah, you know what would be really serendipitous would be to have. I've mentioned this before, like to have this community of entrepreneurs, right, who all have access to each other, like business startup type realm, where everyone's offering, because everyone's in startup or newbie mode, everyone's willing to offer, collaborate.
Yes.
At their level, right?
Right.
Because one of the things I've experienced, is I need a web designer, for example. Well, do you know what the rate of a web designer is? Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah.
So for a smaller company like myself, in order to contract with a web designer, I'm looking at a massive bill for web design services. And then comes the thought process. Okay, could that money be better spent on digital marketing, or on maybe hiring someone or on content creation, or on So it's but if you had a community that was like all able to work with each other at that level, and that it was easy to find, right? Because you can find those people,
right?
But it's a lot of effort, right?
Yes.
But if there was this community that you could just tap into, it's like, okay, we're all at this level. Like, I know you provide web design services and you're not charging $400 an hour because you're just starting out and you're trying to build your portfolio. Well, it turns out I'm starting out too, and so I need your web services. You're willing to charge me a lower rate. Great. Let's work together, right? And I'll get you what you need from me as well, right? So that's what I wish that there was more of, if I'm being honest, as a newbie in the business world, right?
Yeah, it's definitely hard when you start out. I mean, a lot of those things require bigger budgets, and of course it's easy to say, well, you have to invest yourself, you have to spend money to make money, etc., etc. But sometimes it's just not something that you can do. It's not something that you can just throw money at, and again, you want to have a lot of hope and faith that your business is going to do well, so investing in it is good, but it's also just not the reality of what it is, right?
That's right, yeah. And you need to make calculated buying decisions, right? Or purchasing decisions, or where you're spending your money.
Yeah.
And I know, because I've learned, right? I've learned the hard way. I've obviously made some mistakes, and I've spent money probably where I shouldn't have spent money, and too much over here and not enough over there. And so if you're able to spend a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit here, a little bit there, I mean, it would be so much more conducive to helping smaller companies grow, right?
Yeah. So sort of on the topic of helping entrepreneurs start out, I've noticed that you're a part of One Girl Can, and that you are supporting females who want to start their own businesses. Is that sort of what it's at? Can you share a bit more about that? Because I think it's really cool.
They're girls that don't have access to an education, because in Africa they don't send girls to school.
Right.
So Lottie Davis is an entrepreneur. She's Canadian, and she started AG Hair.
Yeah.
And so she started this this charity where she helps girls in Africa get an education, and she helps them build schools so that they can attend these schools and get an education, whereas before they're just overlooked.
Right.
That's not the priority.
Yeah.
So I listened to her speak at a networking function one evening, and I was just taken with the work. I thought, what a great cause, and I want to be part of supporting women.
Yes.
Right? I've always believed, I truly believe in women supporting women. I've always believed that. Yeah. I believe that there's a lot of opportunity for women to help women. Yeah. Whereas, traditionally, I wouldn't say traditionally, but maybe that's not the right word, but women see women sometimes as competition. Definitely. Rather than the way men see men, which is, let's help each other, right?
Partners, allies.
Yeah, how can I help you to succeed? What can I say to get you, to the next level? Yeah. Et cetera. Whereas women, I don't know where that came from. We saw each other as like a competition. Yeah. If we were all to work together and start treating each other the way men treat each other, I mean, all we're doing is helping our own cause, right?
Yeah, because absolutely.
We should be helping each other and not seeing each other as competition, right? Yeah. Reach out, help a woman, like do something for a woman who's trying to succeed, right? And every time you do something for someone else, it has a direct impact on yourself. I don't know if you're familiar with the universal law of giving and receiving. Yeah. But it's a universal law, just like there's a law of gravity. Right. There's a universal law of giving and receiving. Yeah. So in the amount that you give is in direct correlation to the amount you will receive. Yeah. And it's not to say that you're necessarily going to receive from the same source that you gave to, but the universe is very balanced. So if you give in this way, you will receive in a similar way. Right. From where it's unknown oftentimes, but if you start paying attention to that truth, because it is a universal law, whether or not you believe in it doesn't affect whether or not it works, just like gravity. And if you don't believe in it, it still works, right? If you start paying attention to that, how much you give, like just start by doing one thing, like start giving compliments to people on a regular basis, sincere compliments, and then start seeing how many compliments you start getting back. You'll start to notice, like, wow, that's pretty crazy and accurate, right? Yeah. Or money, like try with money. Start giving away money and then start seeing how much comes to you. It's just it's miraculous, the accuracy to which it works. Yeah. Like, it's just unbelievable. So, so that's why I believe in giving to women and give as much as you possibly can, right? Yeah. Because you will receive. Yeah. I mean, don't give to receive. Of course. That's not the way you should be doing it. Yeah. But give and you will receive. It's just universal law.
Yeah. No, I completely agree with that. I think giving back is so important, and it's just one of those things that will come back to you in ways that you didn't really 100%. Believe would happen, right? Which is really
it feels good.
Yeah.
It absolutely feels good when you give somebody something and they're grateful, right?
Yes.
Or even if they're not grateful because they don't even know that you gave it to them, right? Yeah. Like the pay it forward thing.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so we're going to change things up a little bit here. Do you have any favorites, or I guess no, what is your favorite beach or vacation that you've been on?
Beach vacation? Oh my, so many. Um, I love being on the beach in the Cancun area. Playa del Carmen, that's where I got married, and it's just really pretty there. I love that kind of the white beach. I like that Caribbean sand. I like the Caribbean, like anywhere in the Caribbean, obviously. My favorite beach vacation, but I also love Thailand. Thailand's beautiful beaches and Spain. I could live in Spain, I'm pretty sure. In Barcelona. It's just a beautiful place. I mean, any beach vacation is my favorite beach vacation.
Nice. So that kind of touched on my next question, was if you could take your business anywhere in the world, where would it be? So Spain is probably going to be that.
I don't know. Like, if I could live anywhere in the world, it would be Spain. But for my business, right, what I'm trying to do is to help Canadians, to scratch that itch of like, no surprise duties and taxes, and still having access to beautiful, fashionable swimsuits that are really good quality. Like, so I could run that maybe from somewhere in the States.
Definitely.
But that's my urge, right? It's like that's what I want to help is Canadians. Like, so you're right, I could go anywhere in the world and do this job. I've thought about that a lot, and I've talked about it a lot, but my dream was to help Canadians. So I don't know.
So it always kind of brings you back to the past year, or if there's something that has happened not in this year, but in the past year, what is the thing that you're most proud of that has happened in your business?
Most proud of? I could say, my revenue has tripled over last year's revenues.
That's huge.
It's pretty impressive and really exciting and really, I don't know, telling. It feels amazing. So thank you to all my customers and supporters and people who just love this business and love the ideas and love the philanthropy and love the women and love the quality swimsuits and feeling good. So I guess that's my biggest success.
That's awesome.
Over the
and
past year.
Do you do anything to celebrate wins or successes or anything?
So that's really funny you say that, because I'm not that great at celebrating so much. Like, I do celebrate like just by being with my friends and such, and being with my husband. But like formal celebrations, I think maybe you may have ignited something in me that I think I need to begin to do more regularly, because I'm always celebrating like little day-to-days, like
which is important as well, really important to acknowledge.
Like with Nimrit, sometimes, I'll say, hey, like, good job, we did this, like, excellent, like, I'm so excited, or but not anything formal, which I think is probably a good idea, right?
Absolutely.
Do you do anything like?
I love champagne, so I always try and do something around that, which is really funny.
And do you expense it?
I
love expensing.
Absolutely.
Champagne. I love expensing like those things. Like to have like a pop-up shop or whatever and serve wine or champagne. I'm just like, this is so cool, because it's opposite of where we used to work, right? In that corporate, even though I'm a corporation.
Exactly.
But my corporation, like, my husband always makes fun of me. He's like, wine in the Sun Vixen office on Friday nights? I'm like,
of course. Absolutely. No, champagne has definitely always been something that I've like associated with celebration, and my husband and I have a few bottles that we received from, like, I think our wedding, and then we got another one when we were in England because the duty free was like incredible, and we tie them to certain milestones of things that are coming. So whether it's like for him or me, like for example, a joint one that we did this summer is we got a joint client, and so we had this lingering of, if we get the joint client, we'll open the bottle of champagne, and so it was really fun to celebrate that. So I think there's other ways, like you said, on the daily that you can do things, which I think is really important, to acknowledge the small wins and not wait for like the anniversary of something coming up, or like hitting $1 million, which you 1,000% should celebrate. But sometimes you have to be like, oh my God, I launched a website, amazing. I started this, I started an email list, or just little things like that.
100%. Or I got 1,000 email subscribers this year, or whatever it is. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So speaking on goals, what do you have coming up for 2020? Anything exciting?
I'm hoping. Well, my biggest one is I hope to keep Nimrit on.
Okay.
She's to get a work visa, and she has been just such a pleasure to work with, and just I feel like I'm just really grateful to have her. And she's from India, so she needs a work visa. So that's my big plan is to get her working here.
Amazing.
In Canada for me.
Yeah.
And then I'm obviously I want if we can triple numbers in 1 year. I don't see a reason why we can do that again.
Yeah.
So I would love to be able to triple that number again. Like that would be absolutely amazing. Yeah. So that's going to be a goal for sure.
That's huge. That's great.
That will be a big number, so I don't know, but we'll see. Who knows, right? I've already gotten this far. We've already gotten this far.
Yeah.
So, and then I would like to start in the plus size swimwear arena.
Yeah.
I would like to offer some beautiful plus size styles. I have a supplier in mind, and I want to just bring in a couple other brands too, just non plus size, but just kind of widen the offering. But plus size, is something that is near and dear to me because I feel like there's a lot of people that are missed with that. With that fashion, there's obviously plus size options. I don't know how fashionable they are.
Right,
so I think everyone should have access to fashionable, beautiful swimwear for when they go on vacation. So I want to offer that. Yeah. That's great.
Yeah. Very cool. And anything else that you want to share that's coming up or that you're involved in?
That's basically it, right? Just growing the business, and I'm also involved with the Smolik Foundation, which is they offer scholarships to high school students so that they can get through their dreams of going to university and graduating.
Wow. That's amazing.
And they're provided a scholarship to do so.
Yeah.
They're kids that don't necessarily have the funds, or don't have the strong support network at home, or some kind of challenge that these kids experience that they could do with the support of this scholarship. So I'm going to continue to be a mentor there.
Amazing.
I'm mentoring a girl, and she's just really amazing and inspiring, and I'm really excited for her and her future. She goes to SFU, so I'm going to continue to be involved in that, and then I just want to hopefully find ways to continue to support women.
Awesome.
And make them feel fabulous, help them feel fabulous and confident. Yeah.
Very cool. Well, I love it. So where can we find you?
So I am definitely on Instagram at Sun Vixen Swimwear, on Facebook at SV Swimwear.
Okay.
LinkedIn, I'm at Sun Vixen Swimwear. I also have my own profile, Opal Hurteau. You can connect with me there, and I think that's it. I'm on Pinterest too. I don't necessarily do a great job at Pinterest, but Sun Vixen
goals for 2020.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. So that would be it. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. Super excited, and
thanks for having me. Thank you so
welcome.
much, Lindsay. I really appreciate the opportunity.
You're welcome.
Amazing. Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. I greatly appreciate the time that you took to listen and learn a bit more about another woman in business who is truly moving and shaking the world. If you enjoyed listening to this episode, please subscribe, rate, review, and share it with a friend who you think might enjoy it too. These small actions truly mean the world to a small business owner like myself. For the month of March, Sunvixen is working with One Girl Can on a campaign for International Women's Day. To support this initiative, they are increasing their contributions to One Girl Can for the month of March. An additional portion of all sales in the month of March will go towards supporting girls in Africa. For more information, please head on over to www.sunvixen.com to see how you can contribute and support this campaign as well. If you're a business owner looking for inspiration and guidance in growing your business, I would love to help you. I also will be giving my listeners $25 off my Creativity Strategy Hour. By using promo code Creativity and Love, you can use it at checkout and get it on my website, which is available on the show notes, or at www.pinkcrowncreative.com. You can also stay up to date with the latest podcast releases, behind the scenes, and insider info about each guest by following us on Instagram at Have You Met Her Yet series, or by signing up for our weekly newsletter, which will bring each episode right to your inbox. Thank you so much for listening. It truly means the world. We wish you a wonderful week and hope that it is filled with creativity and love.